Welcome to another episode of Entertainment Talk with Claypool, where we bring on guests and celebrities from the film, television, and music industries. Today we have a very special guest, someone that I have been acquainted with for several years now. It's Carla McDougle. Carla has a huge heart for the faith-based film industry. She is the founder and the CEO of Reflective Media Productions. She is the executive producer, a very successful and award-winning film called We Are Stronger. And now she is the executive producer of a series that is winning several awards in many film festivals called Breaking Strongholds. So everybody, I'd like you to welcome Carla McDougle. Hello, Carla. How are you today?
Hi, Clay. It's so nice to be on here with you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you for joining us. I think you're in the greater Houston area today, and, we're filming from the Austin area, so I appreciate you taking the time to do this online interview. So you have had Reflective Media Productions for, 15 years maybe?
Yeah, in 2008, it became a nonprofit. And, interesting enough, I was just at a film conference and spoke at a couple of different panels and then, sessions.
Right.
And I'm always asked this question: how did you get into filmmaking? Was that what you went after when you started this? And I have to say, absolutely not. I actually... Yeah, I know. I mean, I literally did not.
Sometimes your steps are not ordered by you.
Exactly. It was not even in my realm of thinking. As I started this ministry, it was actually, I was speaking at really internationally at Christian women's events and retreats and conferences. And from there began to write, wrote 3 different books because women were like, we need to have this in writing. And so just going back a little bit, when I started, I was fearful to even start that process. And the reason why, and I'm just going to be open and honest with you, is because I have a type of dyslexia. And there was fear from stepping out and knowing I was going to have to read in front of a bunch of women. And that was always my dilemma. And so as I began to just pray about it, like, I can't do this. And about a year after this long kind of debate with God, and we know when we debate with God who wins, and so I just felt like he was saying, you're right, in your own strength you can't do it, but through me I'm going to do something that you can't do yourself, and guess what, you'll never get the glory. And so as a result, I did step out of fear and into a trust mode. And I realized what I had always considered a uniqueness. A weakness. God showed me actually it was a uniqueness, which allowed me to trust him fully. So.
And I think that, when you mentioned fear, one of the things I'm sure that a scripture that came to your mind back then, and probably still does today, is that God hasn't given you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And I think a lot of us, learn that sometimes, and a lot of times, that spirit of fear is a hindrance from us succeeding or doing or being what God wants us to be. So thank you for pushing through that fear to create what you have created today. So prior to you founding and starting Reflective Media Productions, had you ever done any? You mentioned you did public speaking, you've written some books, but have you ever done anything in the production and the film world at all?
Well, yeah, that's what's interesting is because of my way of learning with visuals, because of the dyslexic issue. As I was speaking, I thought, wouldn't it be so amazing if I had some skits that were written that went with it, that the lessons were embedded in the storyline so that women could learn from that type of, and so I went to a friend of mine, Robin Murray, who is an amazing writer, and at the time was a skit writer.
Oh, yeah.
And asked her if she would be interested in writing a mini series to go with my retreats. So that, because usually retreats are 3 sessions. And so each one of those had a skit that would build on the other one with those lessons. And she was like, absolutely, I'd love to do that. Well, from that, I wrote a Bible study called Reflecting Him in 2010, woke up one morning, I thought, wouldn't that be great if we did the same thing for each of these 10 chapters where those lessons are right there. And women began to watch what's going to happen with Janet, but you're seeing the impact of those scriptures being played out and the lives being changed. And so Robin said, I would love to do that. And so in my mind, it was going to be a black box theater. And so we knew a guy, Jake Allen, who loved to have a camera in his hand. I went to him and he said, I had no clue, Clay, that he was in lighting and production classes in college at the time. But God did.
Yeah, because he's a master at all of it, I think.
Absolutely. So he said, we are not doing a black box theater. We are going to do a movie. And so in 3 months, we created this small little movie, 1 camera, and it went with the Bible study. And women loved it. So after that, we thought, let's just do a little, a feature film. So we wrote, Robin wrote this film called First Love. And total DVD release. That was it. And, and this was again back in 2010. And, I think at that point we still had 1 camera, maybe 2. And, but it was fantastic. And we had it translated into Spanish. And so there was a number of things that happened with that film. After that in 2015, we were like, okay, let's do this again. And at that point, it jumped from here up to here. And we increased our, camera equipment. But we started working with organizations that were on the front lines. And we thought, we can help them get their mission out as well as through, this entertainment that is up on the big screen, and then direct people to go get the help. Well, this was called We Are Stronger. And it focused on a soldier coming back from Afghanistan who had PTSD. And we showed the real life behind the scenes in the home and the effects that it had not only on the wife, but himself. And we showed that hope and healing at the end of what Christ can provide as this soldier began to journey his life with Christ. And it ends with, I'm in this process. I'm not done yet. And so as a result, that movie alone went international, has been seen 8.5 million times. And
wow. I didn't realize that it had gotten that many views. That's a lot.
And it was used even as a resiliency for some military programs and some things like that. We don't just provide entertainment; we build follow-up curriculum as well, so it can be used to. So a 6-week study was written to go along with We Are Stronger.
So on We Are Stronger, correct me if I'm wrong, but how many awards has that film received over the past several years? Because I've seen many of the postings on social media, on your websites, and every time I look at it, it seems like it's a different film festival, different event, and so I really have lost count of it, but it's extremely a successful film.
Very successful. That's that, and I would say 50 plus awards. I haven't counted that. We kind of quit counting, but probably 50 plus awards. Along
Wow.
with the it's to me though, the impact of what is coming out of that from people that tell us the testimonies of how I
Yeah.
didn't understand what my wife was dealing with when I was going through this.
Yeah.
Or the wife, I had no clue how to handle this until I saw this. And it's not just, it also, we have Justina Page in there with her story and of a burn survivor who lost a child in the fire, as well
Yeah.
as a number of other people that just really share their real stories. And when you watch We Are Stronger, which can be seen on Amazon, a number of streaming, YouTube, all kinds of places. But when you watch it, there's a scene in there for a veteran that goes to a small group. And you have to understand that's his real story. That's the first time he ever shared it. And I had even ever heard it. And it was all in one take. And it is the most impactful, powerful scene I think I've ever seen in a movie before. The
Yeah. I
way the
remember.
service dog responds, man, So anyway, it was really neat.
No, it's definitely very powerful because I remember, that scene in particular as well in the movie, and you can't help but to feel his pain and feel his victory as well. And
Absolutely.
it's teary eyed, but
Absolutely.
it's a really great film. So from breaking or We Are Stronger. Your productions, Reflective Media, kind of did a spin-off of that. And now you have a
Mm-hmm.
series called Breaking Strongholds. So you're kind of playing on the strongholds, which, a lot of us in life, we have a variety of things we battle with that are considered strongholds. So can you share about,
Sure.
how did Breaking Strongholds come about, and what is the storyline behind that? And just share with our viewers and listeners on where that is and where it's going.
Well, thank you for segueing into that because it is where we are right even today. Um, it was like We Are Stronger became kind of its own entity. And so we
Right.
started praying and seeing where do we want to go next and how can we create entertainment that, has an impact in an area of need. And little did we know, this was 2015. And I want to keep in mind that we are a nonprofit. So
Right.
everything we do is from donations, 100%. No investors or anything like that. So we fit a little bit of a different mold when it comes to productions and things like that. But it's been amazing, the people that have come behind us and to help us create this impact. And we go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, what I was going to say is because you brought up that you're a nonprofit, but I will say that being a nonprofit or being in the independent film industry, sometimes people think it's a lower quality, lower level of excellence. But I will vouch for the fact that the quality across the board when it comes to the cinematography, the sound, the lighting, the actors, the editing, it is so top notch. And
Yes.
the hats off to you and your team, because they've done
Thank
such an
you.
excellent job with the film. And I won't share too much about the series. I'll let you do that.
Well, thank you for that. And you're right, Clay, because that does make a huge difference on people watching.
Yeah.
It's we shoot for excellence, and Jake Allen, man, he takes it to the top. So we are extremely blessed with that. So as We Are Stronger became its own thing, we began looking and seeing where do we need to make an impact. And somebody had suggested that we interview a lady named Kim Hess with Cassidy Joined for Hope. And she had recently lost her daughter to suicide, her teenage daughter. She was 16 years old, cheerleader at College Park High School in the Woodlands, Texas. And in that interview with her, we realized right here where we lived in Montgomery County, what at the time was the highest suicide rate in all of Texas. And I had no clue.
This was Montgomery, Texas, Montgomery County. Montgomery County.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, and again, that was at the time when we were doing our interviews. And so we felt like this is where we need to go this direction. We need to shed light on the issues surrounding this. And so we began working and again, we like to work with organizations that are out there doing the work on the front lines. And so we came across an organization called Living Works, and they have a program that's been out for about 45 years called Safe Talk. And it's a suicide prevention, not just for teens, it's for any age. But what it does is it teaches people like you and I how to recognize the signs, ask the question, and then if they say yes, get them to a place of help. What that does, it opens them up to, the darkness that can sometimes just sit there. It opens that up to the light and exposes that. And the lives that have been saved just by asking that question is huge. Just all the things I've learned since my eyes were open to this. And so Robin, we decided, there's not a lot of faith-based series out there that, there's movies and things like that. But we thought, let's create a series because, everybody likes to binge watch, right? And so, we decided that would be a fun, something to tackle. And, so we created this series called Breaking Strongholds, and it's based on John 1:5. It says, light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. And so that became kind of our tagline verse, if you could say it that way.
Yeah.
And
what's the I guess the storyline, the plot, so to speak. Season 1 is, and we will make it available with the link to Breaking Strongholds. We'll share that, in our show here. But season 1 is streaming now. Season 2 will be released either, I don't know, sometime later this year, early next year. But what is the story for our viewers and our listeners, the plot behind it?
Yeah. So it opens, and I'm not going to be a spoiler, that's for sure, but I will give you, I'll give hopefully enough information that they go, I want to go out there and watch that myself.
Just the basics.
Yeah. So there's a teen, that, when it opens, there's a teen that's struggling, and he's to a point that he's just ready to take his life. And, but he's stopped by someone that was there at the right place at the right time. And we show through those I want to say the first season, we show how he is impacted by his friends and different ones that come alongside him, his father, and to help him get to that place of help. And there's other storylines that are in there. And Clay, I can say how we should talk about how we even met, Clay, because
true.
that we had some openings for some actors, and who was it? Bryce Miller, maybe, that connected us. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was actually, so I'll try and make it just real quick. Me and Bryce Miller met in through an organization called Actors, Models, and Talent for Christ. We had both went through their program. That's where I met Bryce. And then after that program, me and Bryce remained friends and became close friends. And then he connected me to Ulysses. And from that, Ulysses, I think, was involved at that time filming We Are Stronger, or they had finished it, and then that's when the consideration of the series was coming up. And so Bryce connected me with Ulysses, and either Ulysses or Bryce connected me to Jake, and I don't remember if it was you that was there, but I know it was Jake and somebody else that was there. I was invited to audition for the series, and to be honest with you, I think I was just auditioning and not for a particular role. They were just seeing where the right fit would be. So evidently, I'm in the role that they thought I was the best for.
Yeah, you do a great job there too. Yeah, it's been fun working with you in there.
Yeah,
Great actor.
I appreciate it. I enjoy being
Yeah.
part of this organization and in this series. So
To kind of add on to the storyline, there's what we are doing is we're exposing spiritual darkness as well. And there's a guy by the name of Redmond Quinn who is kind of our villain. He's a good villain, right?
oh yeah,
And
he's
he's
creepy.
so good.
He is very good.
Yeah. And you're one of his right hand, or I should say your character is one of his right hand men, so,
Right.
you get to play some parts with him. It's been fun to watch. So
Yeah.
it's a mystery drama, really,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun. It keeps people guessing. Each episode ends with, you can't wait to watch the next one. I talked to a guy a couple of weeks ago that he and his wife were binge watching it. And he was like, I had to, at episode 3, I had to leave because my wife, we had an event we had to go to, and I didn't get to finish episode 4. I can't wait to get home to watch episode 4. So it does keep you guessing. Yeah, keeps you wanting to watch more. So
yeah,
it has a number of different weaving of different plot lines in there that keep you wanting to watch more.
Well, the basis of the series, is hope. Giving people hope that thinking that life is just not worthy of living. So that's to me what I hold on to and love about the series. And then, like you said, at the same time, there's kind of a an action thriller side of things that keeps everyone questioning, what's next, what's going on here, what's going to happen. So definitely a great series. When does season 2 of Breaking Strongholds actually start streaming? And I'm sure you'll do a episode 1 at a certain time, and then episode 2, and so on and so forth. So any time schedule on that?
The sizzle reel is out, and the trailer will be released in early 2023-4, and then the Breaking Strongholds will be out in probably late spring. And it's really, really good. But I'd like to go backwards a minute, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And talk about the impact of Breaking Strongholds season 1 so far. So at the end of the season, everyone will have been through basically a mini suicide prevention training, so that you have it on the, kind of the top of your mind, whatever, of really what to look for and how to ask those questions. Well, the head chaplain, and I think he's called the Deputy Director of Religious Services for all of the Texas prisons, watched it and said, we need this in our prisons because we have one suicide at least, that's not even the attempts, a week, and we need this in our prisons. So we started working to, and we also, for everything we do, we have curriculum that follows. So we have a discussion guides that are free online. You can go to breakingstrongholds.com and you can find our study guides with our discussion questions to ask and go through to get people to have these conversations. And so I sent him all the information for that. And after about, 7-8 months, we got the okay, and they took it into the first prison, which he said was one of the darkest prisons in Texas. And talk about a place that needs some breaking strongholds. And so they brought in hope. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And they brought in I think they did a kind of just trying to bring in some light here. And they had services at 12 and 6 at night, 12 in the afternoon, 6 at night. They took Breaking Strongholds and showed it in all the different pods. And the impact on the lives there, I think even in that second revival service, they had like 600 accept the Lord, and they quit counting, and they were getting people. Example was one of the chaplains was walking by one of the prison doors, and one of the prisoners handed a rope to him that had been made out of sheets. And he goes, after watching this movie, I don't want to take my life anymore.
Wow.
I know. He said, I don't want to be the problem anymore. I want to be the solution to the problem. And it's like, we had no clue it was going to go into the prisons like this. They started using that as a model into some of the different prisons, but the impact had been so huge that what they ended up doing, which is even bigger than any of this, is they have a system through the Texas prisons where they have tablets that each prisoner can have access to. And they have educational programs and a number of different things.
Oh, yeah.
And they put Breaking Strongholds on every tablet that can be accessed. So that's over 200,000 within just the Texas prison. And from my understanding, it went to 20 other states just like that. So,
wow. Carla, I want to pick up on this. I'm just going to take just a real quick break for our sponsor, but I want to pick up still right where we're leaving off, okay?
Perfect.
Let's take a short break with our sponsor.
The Toasted Yolk Cafe, located in Cedar Park, Texas, where Fridays, all our mimosas are 50% off all day long. Come and try one of our mimosas made from our newly introduced Toasted Yolk Champagne. Try the refreshing apple mimosa, the tangy and bright cranberry mimosa, the fruity grapefruit mimosa, the fresh orange juice mimosa. Cool yourself down with our famous strawberry orange mimosa, or try the tropical pineapple mimosa. And let's not forget our frozen mimosas. The #1 day of the week to take off work is Fridays. Come and enjoy breakfast, brunch, or lunch with 50% off a mimosa at the Toasted Yolk Cafe, located at 14105 Ronald Reagan Boulevard in Cedar Park, Texas. Hope to see you there soon.
So we're back with Carla McDougle, and she's sharing some very interesting stories in regards to the success and the impact of breaking strongholds. So Carla, we left off talking about the impact that breaking strongholds has had in the Texas prisons. So, how many? I have no idea how many prisons are in Texas, and so and how many people is this impacting? I don't even know what the number of incarcerated people there are.
Obviously, it's always rotating, right? It's
Sure.
a constant rotation, but I think, from what I understand, over 200,000 maybe are in the prisons at one time. Maybe that's an average. I don't know. I do know it rotates. But one of the things that the chaplain said was that 90% of those prisoners get out. And so if they can be changed and impacted while they're in the prison, when they get out, they're
Absolutely.
going back to their communities and their families. And if it's just, it's really, it's very fortunate that they are doing what they're doing while they're in the prison system to help them grow and become educated and have some hope,
Absolutely. And you mentioned that so this was presented in the Texas prisons, but you say that now it is in all prisons in 10 or 15 other states. What, because it sounds like it's just so successful everywhere that now all the prisons across the U.S. are starting to want to pick it up.
Yeah, I think from what I understand, again, that with this system that they have with these tablets, it is connected to 20 other states. And so when it goes on this particular tablet, the content is also shared with these other states. And so we've already had, it was really amazing. So I'll tell you this story. It's really fun. So Justina Page, who is a burn survivor, she is Aunt Hazel in Breaking Strongholds. And she was in We Are Stronger. We brought her character over.
Yeah. She's funny in the series.
She's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She was actually in a burn unit in Houston and working with them and doing some speaking and things like that with some burn survivors. And this man came up to her and he goes, "I just have to tell you, you have got to have a twin." And she looked at him and she goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I just got out of prison and I watched this movie called Breaking Strongholds. And there's this lady on there that looks just like you."
Oh my gosh.
She said,
That's amazing.
That's me. That was me. And he goes, "Aunt Hazel." And he, wrapped his arms around her and was hugging her. And he said, "You would not believe the impact that it brings tears. The impact that movie is having on prisoners." He said, "I've watched it over 6 times." And so it's just amazing. So
absolutely. So Reflective Media Productions, We Are Stronger, Breaking Strongholds, and plus other short films and other projects you've been involved in. Where's the next chapter for Reflective Media Productions? Any ideas or direction that Reflective Media is wanting to go with, additional series? And I'm sure Breaking Strongholds will continue with other seasons besides season 1 and 2. But is there any other things in the works for some other faith-based series or any feature films that you got in the works, or just where's Reflective Media going over the next few years?
I really appreciate you asking that question, because that's the landscape of what we would like to project to those around us, is that we are media missionaries. That's what people have started calling us. It's kind of like a modern day missionary, because at the touch of the button, we can be around the world with messages of hope. And our goal in heart is to reach the brokenhearted with the hope and healing of Christ. And so, and those messages. And so it's interesting. If you want to put Reflective Media up here, we have arms, if you want to put it that way. So one of the areas that we like to work with is, again, other ministries to help them get their mission out. So we can do that in a way that, these nonprofit organizations that are working so hard, that we don't charge them anything for this. This is something we want to do to help partner with them as we are like-minded. And for example, we are going to be working with an organization called Love Fosters Hope. Love Heals Youth, and getting their mission out by creating a music video called Love Heals. And this little 15-year-old girl took a poem that was written by the founder and it is absolutely amazing. And so we are going to be creating their music video next week and
Awesome.
helping to share through interviews and through a number of different ways other organizations, missions. That's one area. Another one is we are creating a series called Those Left Behind, because since we've produced Breaking Strongholds, there are a number of parents and family members, husbands, wives, that have come to us that are hurting because the ripple effect is so huge of their loved one that left this world too soon. And so we've got a series that we're going to create this next year in 2024 called Those Left Behind, and help them heal and have the hope that they can find as they work through this grieving process. And so we're really excited about that. So there's a number of different areas and then we love to do interviews, and so there's just, we're doing some short films that we're going to do in 2024 as well. And so along with our bigger projects. So anyway, we're busy. We are busy.
Yeah, it's exciting times ahead. As far as for me and my show, we'd love to be a part of your organization anytime. Definitely love having you as my guest. I think I don't think I've ever met somebody that is so on fire for God. You're so full of passion and so full of Jesus in my eyes. So appreciate you allowing me to be a part of your ministry and your productions, and definitely appreciate you taking the time to come and be on my show. There's some things that we will have on the screen when this airs, because you have several websites, strongeralliance.com, reflectivemedia.org, strongermovie.com, breakingstrongholds.com, reflectivelifeministries.org. So I would encourage all listeners to, take a look at these. Please, by all means, watch the feature film, We Are Stronger. Watch the series, Breaking Strongholds, because it has a powerful impact on lives.
This town is just it's a microcosm of things to come. You understand that, right?
I don't think you understand what's at the heart of the philosophy here. You're being used. That's the name of the game around here.
With that, I would like to close with what I always close with, which is, great it is to dream the dream when you stand in youth by the starry stream. But greater it is to fight life through and say at the end, the dream is true. Keep pursuing your dreams. We'll see you on another episode of Entertainment Talk with Claypool.